Now, please welcome candidate for California Controller, MALIA COHEN.
Well, Democrats, good afternoon. Here we are again, gathered in this wonderful assembly. Some of you are in LA, in the studio, and some of you are in your home. But either way, I just want to thank you for coming together and getting ready to hear these speeches and to cast your vote. I am MALIA COHEN, and I am running to be your next state controller. I'm a proud lifelong Democrat. I'm a proud graduate of Fisk University, the alma mater of the great John Lewis. You remember John Lewis. He was the one that coined the phrase of making good trouble. Well, at Fisk is a place where I earned the art of making good trouble, a notion that has shaped my career and my public service. I made good trouble as president of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, where I oversaw a multi-billion-dollar budget and one of the largest public employee pension funds in the state. It's also where I learned to turn an audit into action, and that is key. Taking an audit into action, turning a use of force audit into a major policy change for the San Francisco Police Department by holding them accountable for disproportionately stopping Black and brown and trans people. It's where I stood up to so-called crisis pregnancy centers and made sure that all pregnant people had access to accurate medical information. And today, I am proud to serve as chair of the California Board of Equalization, where I have served alongside our current controller as a watchdog for an $80 billion California tax agency. Now, this agency directly funds our schools and our local governments. And quite honestly, every day I'm making good trouble in this area. I'm making trouble for union busters like Amazon and those giants like PG&E. I make sure that they pay their fair share. I make sure that they don't slip through any tax loopholes. Let's also be clear. I've also aimed to serve in a way that builds a more fair, more equitable California for all. And that's also why I'm running for controller. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic unveiled what many of us already knew, particularly if you're a woman or you're coming from communities of color. We knew that there was an income inequality. And what we also know is that it's a growing gap. Elder and childcare is unaffordable. The cost for everything from healthcare to rent to food to gas, it's all going up. As we come out of this pandemic, California needs a controller who will prioritize working family and quite honestly knows how to get it done, who knows the state level business. And yes, the state controller, how California spends its tax dollars, but this role is about more than audits. It's more than just cutting checks. It's about also sitting on different boards and commissions, 78 to be exact. If you care about the environment, then you want to end fracking on our shores, well, the controller helps chair the State Lands Commission. And if you believe housing is a human right, like I know many of you do, then the state should take action to house our unhoused neighbors. And the controller sits on several different boards that oversees and fund major infrastructure improvements here in the state of California. And if you are like myself, a public employee who works very hard for your pension, the controller sits on CalPERS and CalSTRS, which is the largest public pension fund in the world. So listen, I am no stranger. I am no stranger to causing good trouble, which is why I'm proud to be endorsed by our current controller and fellow Democrat, Betty Yee. When Betty recruited me to run a year ago, she made it clear how important it was for an experienced, progressive woman of color to maintain this role. And I want to continue to build on her record of fighting for everyday Californians. So my experience and my values have allowed me to be the only candidate in this race to assemble a massive coalition of Democrats from across the states. I'm talking about 11 regional directors, 15 caucus chairs, 8 DNC members, and over a dozen county chairs. This winning coalition is going to be enough for us to take on a Republican in November. This coalition also includes elected officials and labor leaders like the pipe trades, Planned Parenthood organizations, SEIU, CNA, UDW, CFA, CFT. I mean, my goodness, state laborers, the Teamsters, women's organizations, NARAL Pro-Choice, thank you for your support. Fund Her, thank you for your support. The California Legislative Women's Caucus made an early endorsement. Why? Because they believe in me and they believe in my vision. This group of leaders, they know that I'm the best chance for this November to beat out the Republican. And as your controller, I will continue to fight for you. I will continue to uplift working families, laborers, nurses, domestic workers, seniors, and children, to make sure that our tax dollars are working to protect our environment, to ensure that we're fighting access for healthcare, to fight for reproductive freedom, and to house every person in this state. So together we can make good trouble. Let's take on the systemic inequalities. Let's address the growing housing crisis, and let's make sure that California taxpayer dollars are accounted for and work for everyone. Democrats, you have a vote, you have a voice in a very contested race. I need you. I would love to have your support. Thank you for all you do to make this state a great state. I'd be honored for you to cast your vote